Welcome back to Arise News Now. My guest in the studio this morning is Iquo Ukoh. She is the founder of 1Q Food Platter, a blog she created to share food and health tips to create variety and excitement for a sensible, healthy lifestyle. She's a trained dietitian who has worked with one of the world's biggest multinational companies for over 3 decades, developing recipes for Nigerian women. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Biola.
So when they told me you were going to be on the show, I was extremely excited. Number one, because I'm a huge fan of yours.
Ooh.
I follow your blog. I've followed your blog for many years. But what I love mostly about your blog is the accessibility of it. It makes it feel sort of almost natural that this is the next progression of how you would make something. Besides you being a trained dietitian, because it's very different from what you do. I mean, what you do is you make food look great.
Yes.
How did you make that? I mean, how did you sort of get into that space and doing it using technology?
You know, first of all, like you rightly said, my recipes are accessible because for me, it has to come from understanding the consumer. Most women would not travel miles to look for ingredients. So for me, I create things around things she can find in her neighborhood market. And then talking about health, you know, that's my area. So whilst creating those dishes, I also subtly guide the consumer or my followers to eating healthy. Because at the end of the day, I think as a blogger, I have that responsibility, you know, to add to helping, you know, a healthier population. Now, the other bit for me was about Nigerian food and the global stage. What I find is the way we plate our food normally, certainly in the homes, is just slap it on the plate. And I ask myself, if a French guy wants to walk into a Nigerian restaurant, what do I want him to see? And that's why, for me, I take the pains to plate properly, but more importantly, to photograph and video those dishes, you know, in an appetite-appealing way. That's it.
I mean, people can see already at home, and I'm sure they're already, their mouths are watering as they're watching. One of the things you said was really that I wanted to go back to is you're a trained dietitian, and you've been you were a marketer for many years and still a marketer. As a dietitian, what were some of, I mean, when did you start being conscious about food? Was it growing up in the home? Like, how was growing up in the home and your relationship with food?
Well, my mom is Efik, so really food is, you know...
Food is life.
Yes, it's part of us. But more importantly, it was the fact that my mom created healthy dishes anyway. Natural vegetables, you know, the little space she had behind the house, she would plant, you know, ugu, water leaf, and all of that. So I grew up eating healthy. And then, of course, when I learned nutrition and dietetics in school, I think for me, earlier on in my life, I knew how to make healthy food choices. It wasn't about just eating. Of course, I eat my ice cream and cake from time to time, but it's about that balance. And at each point in time, I tell myself, what's this doing in my body? What proportion of fat to carbohydrate should I have on my plate? How much protein should I have, for instance? And then I also looked at age. As I progressed in age, certain things had to drop in terms of portion. Carbohydrate, for instance, if I'm going to sit most of my day, there's no point piling, you know, carbohydrates on the plate. So it's this thing about adjusting as one goes on. Because like I always said, if I had to diet, I would have a problem.
So, but that's actually great because I love the way you're telling people at home, basically, it's not about dieting. It's about thinking about what you eat. And that's something people don't like to do a lot. It's like say, oh, you know, I like to feel free, I like to feel free. But you're saying that if there's sort of a natural way that you should actually think about your food, about portions, about what you're eating. Tell me more about when you look at sort of a typical Nigerian plate, which has rice and meat, and how would you like to see that change? Like, what are the proportions we should even be thinking about?
I think for adults, we should think of dropping the portion of carbohydrate, for one. There's a lot of diabetes. I mean, if you check, every family has one or two people suffering from diabetes. So the first step is cut down on carbs as you grow older and check your lifestyle. If you're not very active, there's no point loading your plate with carbs.
Because carbs is really to give you energy,
Energy.
Right?
And if you're not going to expend energy, why pile it on your body?
Give us examples of these type of carbs, because I know people are sitting there like, and okay, no problem, I can stop eating rice.
You start from your bread, rice, eba. I always say this thing for eba, use a long tennis ball as your reference. 2 maximum. And I know many people will laugh at this, but that's, your stomach adjusts after some time, And then Nigerians love meat. Oh my goodness, the plate has to be loaded with meat. Yes, meat, but again, as you age, reduce it. You're loading your kidney with a lot of work to do. Trim off the fat from the meat as much as possible. Of course, fat is tasty, so the temptation is to live on fat, but it's to trim off fat. Load on vegetables. And, look, it can be better than that. It's just that consciousness of reducing here, trimming there as you get older.
So, in your opinion, what are the 3 most healthiest Nigerian foods that you feel are out there that everyone should try to incorporate into their diet?
I would say vegetable, but not too much oil. If you have your edikaikong, don't pour too much oil into it. Of course, we have so much. Moi moi, we have foods like acha. It's a cereal you find mainly in the north, I would say, but I find it in Lagos markets, by the way. We're not tapping into the opportunity of some of these organic foods we have.
What is acha, actually?
Acha is a cereal. Like? It's a cereal. I mean, very tiny, looks like sand. But before now, what put people off was the ability to wash off the sand. But I've found in stores now that you have acha packed with the sand removed. And it takes just 2 minutes to cook. And
what is it? What do you eat it with?
You eat it, you can make it into like what they call swallow, you can eat it as a cereal, you can eat it as a porridge in the morning. So many things you can do with acha. And of course, I have a lot of those recipes on my website.
On the site. So, and then tell me, what are the things that you really feel that with the changing time, with the more knowledge we have about nutrition, there are things that we can slowly take out of the Nigerian diet that really serves no value on the Nigerian table?
Everything is about proportion. And what I find is oil. We love a lot of oil floating. Because sometimes for women, they believe, like we say, the eye eats before the mouth. But not oil. We don't have to eat so much oil. We can reduce oil in our diets, in our dishes.
Where does that come from? Why is there so much oil in our food?
I don't know. I guess we picked it up from our moms and we continue to do it. But I think that consciousness to reduce. Oil adds taste. Let's not forget about that. If you cook edikaikong or afang soup or a foriro without oil, it tastes slightly different. Let's be frank.
Sure.
But what we're saying is, it does not have to float. Like I said, like River Niger and Benue on your plate, yes. We can reduce on our oils. And every other thing, honestly, we're blessed with food. All we need to do is to adjust our portions, that's all.
Fantastic. Yes. So the other thing is actually what you do with the food.
Yes.
So you just mentioned moi moi a minute ago. I know you have some recipes on moi moi recipes. And actually, I know we have a moi moi video that we're going to be showing now. Or not, but
with the beans. It could be the brown beans, it could be the white variety. So what to do is you soak the beans and peel off the skin. But I've also wondered, why do we need to peel off the skin, by the way? Actually, the skin does contain what would bring what is called flatulence, gas in the stomach. So when you peel the beans, it reduces gas. But again, it just looks nicer when it is peeled, and the moi moi looks nicer, but trust me, you can actually cook your moi moi without having to peel it.
Okay. So that is the process of making moi moi and leaves. And sort of one of the things that you still have to take the back off the moi moi. Most places, most people do.
Yes. I mean, look, the skin of beans, is what causes flatulence, gas. So you find out that even for kids, if you're preparing beans for kids, you're advised to take off the skin. But there's nothing wrong in consuming your moi moi with the skin. You can blend your beans and make it like that. There's no problem. But you have a lot more of the gas-forming components of that grain in the
But it's also
skin.
like higher in fiber.
Yes, it is. I mean, so like I said, you don't have to take off the skin, but just out of habit, I think we all seem to take off the skin, but you don't have to.
So you could just soak it and blend it?
And blend it, absolutely.
And it will taste okay?
Yeah. You might just not know the difference.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So the one thing I love is on your blog is how you do sort of almost like things that we've always thought of as main meals.
Yes.
You do them as sort of starters,
yes.
almost like tapa-like type of things. And I mean, those are sort of your akara. You do these kebabs.
Yes.
You do these. So what do people call small chops, which they usually pile on a plate?
Yes.
You sort of do it in a very interesting way.
Yes.
You sort of you find different ways. Have you always been doing that, or did you just feel like the Nigerian table was looking too flat and you started to sort of create layers and...
Well, I think it was this thing about, if you look at the typical small chops plate, it's a lot of carbs. The puff-puff, the masa, the spring roll, the samosa is all carbs. And so I said, look, for instance, if you have fish in akara batter, it's healthier. It's healthier, and I'm not saying let's not eat our puff-puff. I love puff. You know, but can we just adjust it? Even for the puff-puff, if I take sausage, for instance, cut the sausage into bits and dip it in the puff-puff batter and fry, you know what that does? It reduces the amount of carb I've taken into my mouth because I'm not taking a full ball of puff-puff. So I'm having sausage and, you know, the little batter on it. So it's the kind of thing I'm saying, I don't want you to move off what you like, but can we just make some adjustment and therefore, you know, aim towards that healthy lifestyle?
So the other thing too is, which I love just the way you make food look. So I'm here, so people at home are thinking, you know what, I'm a very busy person. How do I even do this? Yes, you've told me these ingredients are in my market. Why do you think it's important for us to sort of like spruce up our table at home? Because a lot of your recipes are focused on home cooking.
Yes.
Why not just put it on the plate and eat it? It's going down the same track.
Yes, yes. Didn't we say the eye eats
before the
them? Yeah, it's just that thing about, you know, you've taken pains to prepare it. Presentation matters. I mean, the same way I don't step out of the house without makeup. I mean, I could go with my hair all over the place, but you just want to put it together. You know, it's this thing about the care you put in presenting the food beyond the nutrition that will come out of it.
Why is it that amala tends to still not be able... What do we need to do with amala to make it more stylistic on the plate? It just looks there.
Well, amala could be stylish if we wanted to. It's about portions, the way we place it on the plate, the soup beside it and all of that. I've seen quite some interesting pictures about, you know, of amala on some blogs. It can be interesting, but, you know, sometimes I see some and I'm saying, oh my goodness, this one.
Most of the ones. I mean, they're the small ones you'll see here and there on blogs. But on a daily basis, like and also too, we're doing a lot of things just out of habit. How do we start to change the culture of sort of just saying, okay, it's rice, throw it on the plate, throw soup on it, throw this. It's almost like we're not even thinking, we're almost unconscious in the way we're plating and the way we're eating because we've always done it. What are the things that we need to do to sort of stop that culture?
I think the responsibility is on food bloggers. And I think, you know, they've taken this on. But, you know, this is habit we're talking about, so it takes time. But what I'm saying is that there's some gradual evolution in terms of the way we present our food, we plate our food. Before now, no, it was really messy on plates. But gradually, people are learning to mold the rice a bit, and, you know, some attempts are being made. But I think we still have some work to do there. And it is the food bloggers, I believe, that would guide, you know, the consumer and their followers into making those, you know, foods look interesting. I mean, sometimes we're in a hurry, but hey, we need to make our plates look nice.
So I just saw today you have a new video posted, which is the coconut corn pottage.
Yes.
Tell us about that recipe, and is this something you grew up with? Like, how do you come up with recipes?
You know, the way I create recipes, I ask myself, what combines well? People eat boiled corn and coconut, isn't it?
That's true. Okay. They sort of
exactly. So there's something complementary about those two. Now, I think of coconut rice, the way it's cooked, and I ask myself, this can work. Because a lot of times I experiment with these things. And so I came up with, fresh corn is in season now, by the way, and we're used to boil it or roast it. But just putting that corn in a blender, crush it, because corn cooks quite fast, once you crush it. And then you're making a nice, savory comfort food. It's amazing, with the green peas.
Now you put some prawns in it. It's looking very good. I mean,
and it tastes absolutely great. I can assure you, it tastes great.
So corn is in season. So
Yeah.
people out there, if you get your hands on some corn today, try
Fresh
this.
corn, yes.
I think it looks beautiful. I can't wait to try it myself. What other things should we be looking at? I mean, with corn, because it's in season, and this is the best time to cook it.
Yes.
What other good recipes should people go on the blog and find?
Yeah, you have, of course, your normal corn and ube.
Okay.
The local, pear.
I never know what to do with that, with ube.
You know what? I have something on my blog where I, soak the ube in hot water because that's how you soften it. I then cut it into two, and then scoop out the content and put some little sweet corn in it, and just a strip of pepper, and ube is back there. It's in a little boat. Absolutely interesting canapes.
You're very good with canapes and really using Nigerian, Nigerian food to canapes, which, to be honest with you, I never sort of saw our food as canapes. But I've seen, your plantain and bean canapes.
Yes.
I mean, they look delicious.
Yeah. That's what we're there for, to give ideas to people in the food service industry, restaurants, caterers, because yes, I'm not, I don't cater, but I think I have the responsibility also to change. If I want that change, then I should provide these people with the information that can help them change.
All right, so we're going to wrap up this segment, but corn is in season, so we can do the corn with ube, we can do the corn porridge.
Corn and beans.
Corn and beans.
That's
a good one. I forgot. I used to eat that when I was a kid. I have not had that in a while. Corn and beans.
There's so many things, you can, the dry corn, when the corn gets a little bit more mature, there's this thing that from Ishekiri area is called Ukoh, something like that. Combination of corn and plantain. And you wrap it like moi moi. It's amazing. It's lovely.
You use ripe plantain?
Yes, ripe plantain and, corn.
You're just full of these recipes. So the last thing before you go, I know they're telling me I have to. One of the things that I find is that you bring Nigerian food all together and make them also almost into a new.
Yes.
How have you, is it because you traveled widely across Nigeria?
Yes.
You lived, how do you have so much knowledge of Nigerian food?
Well, whilst working, I was working with a lot of women. So I had the opportunity to travel between Maiduguri to Kano to Kaduna to Aba, Owerri, everywhere. So I have deep knowledge about Nigerian food and what Nigerian women do with food and, things that work and things that don't work. So I'm bringing all of this on because for me, I think we should start experimenting within ourselves before we even go global. I want to try out Waina from the north, for instance. It's fermented rice, that you make into little balls, it's fried. And I've done amazing things with that.
And you do
I've
a lot
added
of stuff with gari.
Yes, of course, I've done cookies with gari.
Yes, you've done the gari
and kuli cookies,
and
gari and beans, where, you just mix gari and beans, sprinkle the jebu gari on it and place it on plantain. It's lovely. It's lovely.
I love the way you look at gari because I'm not someone that loves gari as much, but I love the idea of gari cookies.
Yes.
It's a gluten-free sort of way of cooking.
Absolutely.
So with the North, you have quite a number of recipes that infuse Northern food, that brings all these other things. What can people at home, how can they also improve their knowledge around food? How can people get more excited about food?
Like I always say, you check the recipes. Like for most of my recipes, you can find the ingredients around you. I don't believe that at this stage, I want to get the woman onto the point where she has to get a dictionary to find out what the ingredient is. It should be something she can get easily. But more importantly, it's this thing about bringing variety to the family meals, meal times. We don't have to stick to the same egusi and eba, rice and stew, jollof rice. We can create variety in our homes. And home cooking, I think guarantees your health much more.
Yes.
Than, yes, we eat out, but sometimes you don't know what, the restaurants have used in there.
Well, I love the fact that you're focused on home cooking.
Yes.
I love the fact that you're focused on sort of like the food being the center of bringing the family
Really
together. I think family time is something that we're losing the value of. And so those are some of the things I love. And I see the accessibility when I look at your recipes. Oh, I can make this on Sunday after church. This is something I can easily put on the table. We're going to bring you back because one of the things that you're doing that's amazing is the visual presentation.
Yeah.
And you were a marketer for 30 years.
Yes, plus.
30 plus years.
Yes.
And so I wanted you to talk to us about how you found a way to connect with your customer.
Sure.
I can't get enough of your page. I can't get off your page when I'm on it. How have you been able to connect with the customer and really talk about the consumer behavior and how we're consuming content in a different way and how you're telling stories using food? So we'll be bringing you back for more of that.
Thank you.
So we're coming back soon, and when we come back, we will be talking to Oluyomi Ojo, the CEO of Printivo. Stay tuned.